coin or your life. Choose.
Hello, folks. Welcome back for an episode of Our Journeys. We begin with Banana Schwaaard, friends, who is on the ladder in the tower up against Al-Shaman, who is also in the tower, both looking to get to the goofy Stay Puffed Atronach. Al-Shaman using the Empire, or the, Empire, to achieve his ends, whereas Banana Schwaaard is running a Telvanni with moon gates and razzle-dazzled, frazzled Alfiques and things of that nature. So definitely a Wax Wayne. That's what I was trying to say. A Wax Wayne Telvanni against what looks, at least at the outset, to be a fairly straightforward control empire. So we can expect our new eras, our guardians, probably seducers. I'm trying to think what else. What would be the next card that on turn 5? A javelin if Manic Jack gets out of hand. Doesn't look like he's going to get bigger though. The Queen?
Approach and
the Queen.
Recognized.
Oh, yeah, no, good call. Yeah, sorry. Does make him one bigger by giving him guard. That's a good heads up play by Banana Schwaaard. I totally forgot that. I knew Manic Jack gets bigger with every attribute you give him, but, well, goodbye, Manic Jack. Manic Jack got swallowed by a dragon. And curious to see. Now, typically, Telvanni is the color of control, and so we'll see if Banana Schwaaard is geared for that, whether he trades into Sheer Point or goes face. I think he's going to trade. Or deal 1 damage. Well, no, he'd have to trigger that 4 times. And I did find the hard way that moon gates do not stack. If you trigger a moon gate and another moon gate, unless I'm mistaken, remembering incorrectly, triggering both doesn't make it the effect happen too much. Okay, yep. So we are seeing a trade there. This is no doubt a control list. Bring back the assassin. Okay, yep, that's usually the backbreaker. You see that after a new era, just after everything you've played has been wiped out. Ooh, gets a card draw and a 1+1. We may see our first Moongate trigger. Frazzled Alfique into Gout Fang. Gout Fang? Gout, really? We're going with Gout, huh? Maybe Gout means something else in Khajiit speak, or in the lore of TESL, but Gout today is pretty disgusting. Little kitty. Little kitty with the hat. Little kitty wearing a hat. Look at that. Booties? Is wearing booties too? It's a kitty with a hat and booties. Well, isn't that just precious? I'm glad they animated that one. I wish they could do that with more cards. I understand why they couldn't. It's just crazy which cards they decided to do. I wonder if it was just, hey, we've got the assets for this somehow already. Because we got a crab, one crab in particular that can scuttle across the board and pinch you in the face. Gets its own animation. We got a little Alfique kitty that gets its own animation. I'm trying to think what else. We get Tiny Dragon. Gets its own little animation. They're cool. Trust me, I'm not complaining. It's just interesting. I wonder what the criteria was for which cards get animated, or if it's like, look, we can easily make a little kitty, or we can easily make a 3D crab, but other cards, and maybe there's one. Look, other cards don't need it, But it would be kind of cool, almost to get a. I don't know how it would work with the type of view that we have here, but like if every card when it was summoned, like the creature on the card rose out, did its effect if it had one, and then kind of came back, went into the card, like sheer point. So you see it come out, and it would go shop, and it would chomp on something, and then go back into the card. The Viper, I don't know, with it having charge, it probably, because I'm thinking like when you see like anime, and like, so the character has an attack, and the attack is just a punch, but because it's a dragon punch, like you see, the dragon's head form at the fist, and when he punches, like the fist goes through the target, and the tail wraps around it and does all this stuff, and it's really just a punch, but it's the imagery of it all. Let's see, what did... Oops, I always do that. Gosh darn it.
Go. Try to hit this.
Oh, okay. So Wilhelm was playing a Wax and Wane, that is what... Whoa, gosh, that's a big old snake. Big old territorial viper. This is a hard one to choose to get a premium for, because even though it is a rare, so it's affordable, more or less, you see it for like 3 seconds and it's done. Like, very rarely does that snake stick.
Have been made.
So yeah, Banana Schwaaard. Oh my gosh, I wasn't even paying attention to the card differential here. Banana needs some... Hopefully he's running New Start or something akin to that.
Hand sees all.
Yeah, wants to get rid of that drain as he tries to make his push and close this game out. But the only thing he's got going for him right now is that he doesn't really have a board worth new airing, because I'm guessing it's one of these cards here. One of the front 4 that Al-Shaman has is a new era, but he's reluctant to use it because he doesn't want to. I mean, it's Banana. You can hear the card, right? We said this is where my little game ends. Soon, yeah, that's hilarious. This is where our little game ends. Oh, what card does that? What card says that? It's been fun. This is where our little game ends. I don't remember. Crap. I don't know if it's the... It's been fun. Oh, especially if that's a Call Dragon. Probably Call Dragon. Oh yeah, it's Call Dragon. It's going to be a big old... So he gave it to this one here. Oh no! He just can't get through the guards in time. So yeah, it is probably the end for Banana. Unfortunately. Oh yeah.
I smell the stench of the living.
It's probably you. You're a decaying corpse. You stink. That's projection, isn't it? You come down, you're a freaking rotting vampire. You're like, something stinks down here. It smells like death. I wonder what it is. Well, maybe it's you. That's all I'm saying. Little self-awareness there, Barrow Stalker. Oh, that's your whole name. I don't know what else I thought that was there. You and your blue flame, which is actually kind of cool looking. Shut up! All right, Banana able to find and punish Al-Shaman's reluctance to do anything, and we... he could play... No, he can't. No, because he did... Okay. So he can play this next turn. Come down as a 4/4 and silence the 4/5. But there's the big Call Dragon. I don't even know that Mark runs Call Dragon. He's kind of the Empire King, from what I can recall. I mean, I know he is. That's his jam, as it were. But I don't think he runs. I don't think he runs Call Dragon and Calgron too. Maybe he does. I don't think so. I mean, Banana's, it's really hard to concede when you've got your opponent down that far. I mean, granted, he's got... Okay, so maybe he's going to silence the bat then. Or he's going to silence Cal. I don't know. The problem is, there's more than one Call Dragon in his hand. And because Call Dragon buffs all the shouts in your hand and everywhere else in the world, as soon as the next Call Dragon comes down, it's going to be a big old Odaving or Alduin. Which you could kind of hope it's an Alduin, because right now Al-Shaman is building up a board.
My servant.
He's got to get maybe another Frazzled. He does! More kitty! Look at your little hat, your goofy little hat. Why you wear a hat like that? It's a goofy little hat. Alright. Not enough Al-Shaman. And this is why even control decks, like when you watch Tiago, when he plays, even though he is control, he will start whittling his opponent's health down so that he can kind of finish him off. Oh, okay, never mind. He doesn't need to. He's got the ultimate Tale as old as time in Scout color. This was the bane, man. I got so sick of seeing the 7/7 bat in Scout. That was the thing. Old timey Scout. Oh, that's okay. Banana's staying in it because he's hoping for the general, and unfortunately, instead he gets Lucien Lachance, who, even though he has a nice glowing purple sword, he is not going to be able to stop this Heaven 7 bat. And I don't know what accent this is. I'm not even going to pretend that is French. I'm going to pretend that it is something. Oh, cool. I don't know where it's going now. Very, very strange accent. Very strange place to have it go. Yeah, but the general would certainly have been a welcome thing to see here. Russia now? I don't know exactly. He kills the kitty. You're a bad person for killing the kitty.
There's a plan. There's always a
Your plan sucks, Bruma Profiteer. In this particular case, I don't like your plan. Your plan is dumb. You are dumb. Yeah, and see, Al-Shaman is playing, I would say the...
Just forget about C.
How do you put this? It's play for attrition, not play to win style, which, yeah, I'm not a big fan of. Like, I understand the gist of control. Now, if he hits, okay. Is he gonna? Okay, no, all right. Well, he's definitely looking to close it out. Hopefully next turn.
It has been my honor.
And we just may see a
You
concession.
are
Yep.
the victor.
Yep, and they've got lethal. Because really, there's no good way that ends. Up next is Eye of the Restless Storm versus Trumple. Trumple. That's just it's a funny word. Funny name. I feel like Norm Macdonald. It's a funny name. It's kind of a funny name. Anyway, doesn't sound anything like Norm Macdonald, but whatever. It's a top 10 versus top 10 in this showdown. Trumple sitting at 183, a very respectable number in the top 200. Eye of the Restless Storm in the top 75, playing Halalu Dragons. And
Behold my power.
I'm actually amazed that, like, so I just the other day was actually thinking about coming. I don't remember if I said it's another game or not. My gosh, I talk so much I forget what I said. But I had actually thought about coming out of unofficial retirement to play a Halalu Dragons because I didn't think anybody else was playing it. And today, well, so this is a split recording. I recorded earlier today. Now I'm recording for Monday. Now this is Wednesday's game. I've seen each day at least one Halalu Dragons, and Eye of the Restless Storm, who had been running a mid-range Sork deck, has now switched over to Halalu Dragons as well. So apparently it's not as rare as I thought. Either that or Genius struck us all at the same time, and we all decided we were going to put together a Halalu Dragon deck. To be fair, I know for a fact mine does not have either one of these cards. So it would be a different build. More than likely, mine would have been a less effective one. But it's Halalu Dragons, and I definitely didn't have Marak. I don't even think I have Marak in my alternate account, which is where I created the Halalu Dragons initially, just for fun, and then I was like, oh, well, let me bring it over to this account, but I have not had a chance to do that yet, but I know I don't have Marak yet in that. I just feel too dirty. It's a personal thing. Just a personal thing. I'm not saying it is. He's going to squish this. No, I thought, well, I guess Trumple does not need the card draw at this point. And really doesn't need. So interesting to know, unlike Marak, who, like, so we may see Marak yoink Night Talon Lord.
You cannot hope to outrun this.
Nope. Wait, where am I? How did I get over here? Get over here! Is he gonna... We can't Marak it back. Oh dear. That's bad news. That's really bad news. With that many cards, I can guarantee you there's going to be a giant Tazcad or Razamadazzle. There's going to be something big coming down next turn.
I'm sure I don't have any.
And in the meantime, Trumple's just playing out cards left and right. Good old Cal. I have a feeling he is going to get destroyed by... I mean, I would say, I'm guessing with that sized, you've got Aspect of Ursine and Tazcad that we could see come down as chargers.
Show me what you've got.
Or just a ginormous... Wait, is she... No, what is this, 7 costs?
No hard feelings.
Yes, okay, so she's not quite there. Oh. Okay. Interesting. She is going to get javelined. More than likely. And yeah, javelin and the douche. Douche coming in at a timely moment. Really? These are your only options? I mean, it's not the worst, but... Maybe this isn't like a hardcore dragon deck. Or either that or it's gone long enough that we've... No, I'm really not running a ton. I'm running a ton of dragons. It's almost like they're a garnish. It's not like a... Well, I don't know. Well, I don't see any lookouts. That's the thing. I have to look for the lookouts. If you're running lookouts, that means it is a dragon-heavy deck because you're counting on drawing enough dragons to trigger your lookouts. If not... Ooh!
I'll try to draw their
Say,
fire.
down, you Argonian savage. Down, you Argonian savage. Okay. I guess it would have made a difference.
I smell blood on the wind.
No, that's you. You vampires and your sense of smell, you suck. Wow, what a great pairing to have there. And Trumple obviously playing oh, game over. Wasn't even paying attention there. Good game.
Well fought.
Bam. All right, so Trumple falls to Eye of the Restless Storm and his Halalu Dragons. And we join Krakatoa 95 running a Telvanulus with the Dark Seducer and her ridiculous attire. But hey, she's on the right side of the board now, so I'm not going to diss on her too hard, but still,
Enemy spotted.
still goofy. I don't know who the heck she could possibly seduce. I mean, maybe that's just her profession. Doesn't mean that she's good at it. Maybe seducer means something. Maybe in Elder Scrolls, a Dark Seducer is a light technician. You create balls of light, and that's what a seducer is. In which case, she seemed to be very good at that job. But in any case, Grim Champion, that's a great... well, I mean, it's an epic card, but a rare card to see these days. Oh my gosh, Serpentine Stalker, another one. I don't even run this one in my Dragons deck, just because it's so hard for it to get the Slay effect and survive almost any... I mean, now granted, well, it would have been good against a card like that, but yeah, I like it. I actually spent the 3,600 to craft all 3 of them in Legendary. I don't think I got any of them naturally. So I liked it well enough to craft it, but then I started playing it, and I was like, it's really hard for me to get it to stick on the board. The only good thing, it was good for removal. Like, it got targeted down quite a bit. Because it really can go crazy, especially with something like Unstoppable Rage, which obviously Krakatoa is not running. But it's really good with stuff like that. It can really snowball. Especially with like a Brotherhood Gate. Or Brotherhood... What is it called? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The 1/1, the 1 cost thing that gives you plus 1 slay effect. Unless you're Geob, in which case you don't get a buff at all, which somebody else pointed out that Night Town Lord also does not get that buff. So it's interesting. I'm not saying it should be that way. I think Geob could use all the help he could get. So I think giving him double the slay effect, making him a 10/10 guard would be really cool. I mean, it would be incredibly broken because he's a one. More than likely, you'd be able to play him on turn 3, or turn 4 him plus a Archer's Gambit. That's most likely way early enough on that you're going to get that slay effect. So that's essentially a 4-cost 10/10. So I get it because if you played the Brotherhood Gate early. Anyway, enough of the hypotheticals. Serpentine Stalker comes down. And the great thing, well, now, depending on what Maloch Malok? Malok. I don't know, maybe. They're clear-headed. Rank 12. And may very well be an organic rank 12. See, I told you. Serpentine Stalker Boy, he gets targeted down. It's hard to see if Moloch is just starting out or if he's somebody like me. And who else was it? Vincenzo, actually, who I believe is now in the 12 rankings and is looking to try to climb up in one season. So let me go ahead and because I forgot to mention it, Vincenzo and Tiago, two friends of the channel, have played many a game on here or been featured many times. Both really high-level players, and both have their own channels.
It's okay.
The link is in the description, as always. It's kind of hard-baked in there at this point because I definitely want to get as many eyes on as many creators as possible. If you're like, I just love TESL, I love it as content, you know, I love those games, I definitely want to support the other creators as much as possible. Probably not going to make the trade. It is going to make the trade. Okay, interesting. Wow. Okay, yeah, I think our friend here is probably starting out. I mean, I think the Hive Warrior might be worth getting more playtime, but in general, you don't really see it unless it's somebody with a more or less incomplete deck. So this is somebody who is trying to run, try to figure out what works for them. I think.
I am sworn to protect you.
Oh yeah. You don't see Lydia very often either. And to his credit, I mean, it really has. It's doing pretty good. The game's a little closer than, well, a lot closer than you expect. Okay, I thought perhaps Dark Seducer, but that works just as well. Knight of the Order. Doesn't really need it now. Looks like Moloch is going to fall in the next couple turns here, since we know Krakatoa has something as big. I mean, Dark Seducer at this point, not necessarily so much about the Magicka as it is. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, this game is now pretty much anybody's call. The only benefit is Moloch is out of cards, but goodness gracious, Krakatoa, very happy to have that Dark Seducer waiting in the wings. And Green Pack Stalker, for that matter. Alright, so he's going to trade with his little Bendari Opportunist. Okay, he's going to trade with all of it. Good call, though. That's good play. Bring in Green Pack Stalker. Also, a good card that you don't see get played a lot, so nice to see him on the board. And it's not even like a specific like ping damage heavy deck. It's just a good card to play. More than likely, there's going to be your opponent's going to have an injured card on the board on the other side of the board. And is this going to be enough? 12. Oh, excuse me. Oh, goodness gracious me. Good game, Krakatoa 95. A relatively fresh game with Clamzaki? I don't know. I think the C is silent. I'm not really sure. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is my first time seeing Plemzaki. Plemzaki, I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. You can correct me in the comments if you see this. I'm going to call you Plam for now, but I would be happy to use your full name if I know that I'm saying it correctly. But Plemzaki is ranked in 10 at the moment. 10, gosh, I don't even remember what those are. Because I haven't seen him in a while myself. In any case, they're battling out at the beginning of the game's inception, where you first begin your first few constellations. So very fresh starting this season. Although we are, what is the date today? My goodness gracious. I think we're like mid-April, aren't we? Yeah. Anyway, nice hand of cards. for Plam. So Revenge, Wardo Kent Hunter buffed up to a 6/5. That's going to be fantastic. Gortwog, I mean, he has just got a lot of great options and things to take out anything standing his way. The problem is right now he just doesn't have that great of a board. And Grimsticks, Grimsticks, 11 leaning heavily into the what I call defensive goblins, or I don't know. There's got to be a cursed goblins, because you have your very raw goblin decks, which are just all power. They're kind of like mini orcs, just go low to the ground and try to get in. What I've seen most in the past, I don't know. I think it's been a long time since I've seen a pure like just straight up gobbo build. It's usually goblins with sheer point with the 1/7 guy. What is he called? Nut bunnies. Morik Ball. You know what I'm talking about. He's a guy. He's a 1/7 guy. Not Batman. Batman's more like this. I'm Batman. That's how he talks. This guy's but I can't remember what he's called. It doesn't matter though, because Plam is looking to finish this game off in the next turns. Does not have an orc on the board to enable his Wood Orc Kent Hunter to charge, but he is going to need to cast that kitty out. So we might see a cast out and Gortwog. So he gets an orc on the board, an orc that needs to be dealt with in some way, and gets the kitty out of there. Wow. What a card to have. So yeah, Grimstick's really leaning into that whole thing. Now he could, well, Earthbone could silence him, but that's only going to make him a 3/2. But yeah, I think Gortwog and cast out. Get Kitty out of there and get Gortwog down. If nothing else, you get Widow Kentler down. Okay, does not. Maybe he's going to Earthbone the Kitty?
I fight with the fervor of the wild hunt.
Does Earthbone the Kitty. Okay. Just got to be careful, because that's still a 4/3 body. Oh, and that hurts. That hurts. Now that would have hit Gortwog, and Gortwog would have died, so it would not have worked out that way either. But yeah, now Grimsticks, I mean, doesn't have to go too heavy, but oh boy, see, so Militant Chieftain into Wood Orc, but that's not closing out the game, unfortunately. That only makes it it gives them 7.
We are not done.
Okay, that's
And we'll pay the blood price.
come down. He's gonna smack. Okay, I thought it looked like he might have been sitting to trade there. He's pretty much got this. So he's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got 7. He's got exact lethal in his hand. So all he has to do is prevent Grimsticks from oh no, Grimsticks is looking to just win it right now. And that Greystone Ravager is not going to get it done. He can hope that boy.
Mother of mine.
There it is. That's what he needed. Now, Grimsticks probably has a way to get rid of him. Oh, he's a 3/3 though. That's pretty good. Ooh, this is tense. This is tense. That definitely has put...
This one will.
Oh, well, maybe not. He kind of dealt with that pretty quick. That may have been the deciding...
Killing you will make an
It is.
story.
Oh, wow. And Grimsticks, yeah, probably feeling a little salty.
This episode is sponsored in small part by the Legendary Remnant Discord. If you are a TESL player and you want to talk to other people in the community about strategies, about decks, about custom cards that you have ideas for, that you see, come to the Legendary Remnant Discord. We're talking and discording. Still working on that catchphrase. But the primary sponsor of this video is the Riverhold Pyromancer, a card from the brilliant mind of Vincenzo. It is a 4-cost Khajiit in intelligence, which is something I don't think we have. Oh no, we do. We have Discerning Thief. We do have some Khajiit in intelligence, not a lot. Not saying Khajiit aren't intelligent. I'm just saying what it is. But this is yet another Khajiit for intelligence. 3/2 body, summon, deal damage to all creatures in the lane equal to the amount of actions you played this turn. I'm seeing this mostly in like a mage build, I'm guessing, because between willpower and intelligence, those are where you get most of your action synergies going. You've got cards that do damage when you play an action. You've got cards that buff each other when they do action. And now, when I say do damage, I'm thinking of the Hex Mage, Lilandra Hex Mage, who does damage to the opponent directly every time you play an action. But this is one that essentially snowballs on playing smaller actions. So this one I think is going to be harder to pull off. So I do think the 4 cost is probably, because you're thinking about it, the Skaven Pyromancer is a 3 cost, 2/3, so a little bit more endurance, a little bit more durability. And he does, with a 3 cost, he does 1 damage to everything. So that's not incredibly great, but he does that on his own. If you play the Riverwold Pyromancer, on turn 4, she does nothing. Unless you give her a ward, in which case she'll do a damage, 0 cost, but it'll do damage to creatures there. So I think the opportunities and the options for her being able to do really cool things is pretty high. But it's going to be similar to the 1/3 that he did in Strength, that the Prison Break, or the Escape Prisoner, that when if an item is drawn, it gets equipped onto her. It's the same thing here. There's some potential big things that can go on, but you have to have the low-cost actions early in the game in order to trigger that. As a 3/2, she's not going to stand up to a lot of attacks. There's plenty of 4-cost, even 3-cost critters that would do her in. So, as usual, and I'm not saying this 100%, I may be wrong, but as usual, I think she may be overcosted. Maybe a 3-cost 3/2. So she's still kind of frail, but she can come out, because you think, at this point, if somebody else has, like, the Cunning Ally, on turn 4 she comes out, the Cunning Ally can come down on turn 4 and blow her out of the water. So, in order for her to activate early, unless you're thinking more of a late game card, which actually that may be the idea, maybe that would be the better build for her, is you play her later in the game when you can put her down, and then you play some lower cost and then like a Fingers of the Mountain. So I would say on average, she's probably going to be able to do with the diversity of actions you have in willpower and intelligence. I think you would have enough low cost to maybe do 1 or 2 actions with her until you get really into the late game. But I mean, obviously, it's not going to affect warded creatures. And if it is late game, more likely there are going to be more creatures that have Magicka. This would be great against Tullius's Conscription, most of them. I mean, obviously, Praetorian Commander is going to make that a little bit difficult, but anything that enhances Conscription is going to be a problem. But for a general Conscription or any cards that are trying to go wide, now granted, this is only for the lane, so it's not like a full board wipe. It's not an Ice Storm, so I don't think it's too powerful. But remember, we already do have cards like Immolating Blast and Dawn's Wrath, which encourage players to spread into 2 different lanes. So most players now, especially, I'm thinking this would be, I mean, at 3/2, it is a little bit more aggressively statted. It's not a guard. I mean, if it was a 1/4 guard, you would see it more as a defensive type card. This one seems a little bit more aggressive, which is fine too, because I've mentioned it before. Cards like Burn and Pillage actually aren't bad in aggressive decks as a 1-of, maybe a 2, but typically a 1-of. If you're racing another aggro deck, or if you're just trying to, if you can get your opponent break all 4 of those runes, you're doing 4, I think it's 4 damage, or 5 damage, 4 or 5 damage, to everything in there. So you get a chance to get rid of some guards and make your way through any kind of protection there. This also would help, well, I mean, it has potential. Well, now Ice Storm would kill it. Oh no, well, you would just play Ice Storm first and then you'd play this one. Okay, that was a dumb comment. Anywho, I think it's great. As is per usual, Vincenzo has given us a card that definitely jogs the mind. It's not as a straightforward, simple thing. You gotta look at the late game value of it and the early game potential of it. And I think the fact that it probably doesn't work great early game probably makes it a well-balanced card. I think, like I said, I think it could be devastating later in the game. Even with, well, no, she's not really playing actions in aggro too much anyway. But most of your big actions are going to cost between 5 and 8. And you're gonna have her on the board, and even then that's 1 damage. So if you play her in Dawn's Wrath, your Dawn's Wrath 1 lane, it does 1 damage to everything else in the other lane. It may help. You've got those imps, you've got the Relentless Raiders, you've got the Elites, you've got a lot of cards that die to just 1 damage. But ideally, you're probably going to want to do 2 or 3 with her on the board, justifying that cost. Anyway, I think, as I talked about it, I think it's probably a fair cost value for what she is. Like I said, she is a little bit frail with that 3/2, especially at the 4 cost. There's plenty of creatures that would just gobble her up. But if you can get a ward on her, or shoot out a lightning bolt to 1 creature, things like that, she could definitely be effective within a few turns if she survives. I will say I'm a little perplexed at where the tail is coming from on the drawing. In theory, it would be coming from her mid-lower back, but it looks like it's kind of coming from around the other side of the skirt. It's almost like they forgot the tail is supposed to be there. Either that, or somehow she's got it wrapped inside of the... But there's nowhere for it to exit there. I mean, maybe it's supposed to be... I don't know. Maybe the angle's a little bit wrong. Maybe her back is... She's turned a little more sideways, and I'm thinking... But ultimately, I'm not really sure how the tail is coming out. I understand that there's a fold there, or, that it's overlapped. So in theory, the tail could come from there, but I don't... But then But it would have to be at a really weird angle. It would have to be bent almost 90 degrees to come out from about where the tail would come from. So aside from that, I mean, it is some great card art. It's beautiful. I think it actually does work with the existing art style of TESL. I'm not sure, is it... Well, yeah, we've seen Khajiit with, like, the little mohawks. So we know that Khajiit not only have fur, but that they also have hair with the fur. So I guess a little wisp is actually works out. She reminds me of my little. I had a cat named Tubby. Well, I called her Tubby. She was initially I called her Figaro because I just seen Pinocchio, and even though she was a black and white cat, she was a tabby cat. I called her Figaro, and ironically, we had a black and white cat actually that we got at the same time because they both were at the pound, and they both look very very sad, and so we couldn't leave one behind, so we got them both. I named the one that was not black and white Figaro, and the other one was called Noodlebug, who became Newbug, and Figaro became Figgy, and later on when she put on a lot of weight in her older age, she became Tubby. But she was my little Tubby, and she kind of reminds me. She didn't have the hair or the beads or anything, or the fire on their paws, or the skirt or anything, but just in the face. And that look, which may be, I don't know if that's supposed to be a I'm dangerous, don't come near me, if it's a well hello there, or if it's a you're boring me. But it kind of reminds me of the you're boring me look that Tubby would give me when I would talk to her. I would just talk to her like she knew what I'm talking about. She just kind of look at me and do this thing. Like, why are you talking to me? You know I can't communicate, or you know that I couldn't care less. I just want to go to sleep and you're keeping me up. So then she'd roll over on her side and let me know, I'm going to sleep now. You can keep talking, but I'm not listening. So in any case, great times, great memories, great card, great thoughts. Thank you, Vincenzo. Thank you for taking a gander. And now back to the games.
Hey, a fresh game with Zosby, who has, between the last session and this one, really we've been able to get him some, get in some good games with him. I believe he's 1-1 now, maybe 2-1, I think, since we started watching. But been very good games all around. And once again, Halalu Dragons. Halalu Dragons!
Just give me a name.
Never saw him until I was like, hey, I think I'll play Halalu Dragons. Now, I'm not saying that anybody was copying me, because I didn't tell anybody. I was just thinking about it. I was like, well, maybe I'll roll it out. That was him and Han. Skaven Pyro.
Let's heat things up.
Bam, he heats things up. Indeed. He's going up against the handsome 1311.
I strike like the Morak tongue. Swiftly and silently. I fly like the wind in the shadows for
Last gasp deck. Oh, bit of a low roll there from the Spy Master. I fly like the wind and nobody cares because I create crappy cards. And there you go again. Although that's not horrible. You will actually get to use it and make this Firebrand a massive 2/2. Yeah. You live by RNG, you die by RNG. That's what I was told since I was a young lad.
I'll break your spirit.
So, the stars portend.
Interesting. Usually only see her in prophecy heavy decks, which I don't know. That's weird. It's weird. But the handsome 1311 climbing the tower, trying to get to stay Puff Atronach, and Zosby now in the Thief, looking to make that push to legendary. And how cool would it be for him to do it on the back of these mighty Halalu Dragons? Although to be fair, yeah, I think this deck is a little more dragon oriented than we saw with Eye of the Restless Storm. He had strategic dragons peppered in. Zosby here that we can see runs a lot more, and he's running the Berserker of the Pale into the big dragon. What's his name? Mulamir. It is the Berserker of Mulamir combo that we're hoping to see. Oh wow! Did we just see a little bit of a high roll there? Unfortunately, Zosby has a Leaf Lurker to deal with that monstrosity.
The forest is my cloak.
Yes, it is. I do think, I will say this, I like the art for this Leaf Lurker better. I like everything about it. The thing was, the other Leaf Lurker really seemed like it was, because he uses like the blades, it felt more like, not a precision attack, but like, I don't know, it seemed to be more of a, you're already injured, I'm going to hurt you more. Hers seems like, because we have so many other cards with like a 1, that have the bow and arrow, and they ping for 1 and it does 1 damage. It's a bit of an odd concept to use, because it's like, when you think of bows, they're more like strategic, not strategic, surgical attacks. They just, shoot once in the chest and you're done. So it seems less like a card that would be apt to finishing off something as opposed to killing it in one shot. But, but I do like the art, and it's nice to have, an alternative line. It looks really good. Although I also like the voice line. Oh wow, and the handsome calls it in. Alrighty. Banana Schwaaard, friends, the Master of Dragons, is bringing his nifty Crusader list into this weekend's event, which, as a reminder, Armory, after you summon a creature here, a random friendly creature here gets +1/+1. So it's not a hand buff, it buffs whatever card you put down there. So if you only play one creature, it's going to buff itself. Wait, do you have to have one down already? Oh yeah, so random friendly. So the first one you play doesn't get a buff. So if you played 5th Legion...
It's time to act. Step and strike. You're getting there.
Interesting. Okay, so it does trade favorably with the 4/3. How did that? Maybe it does give you a 1/1 right off the jump. No, because she's a 3/4. That would have made it 4/4. So yeah, I guess you get +1/+1 when you play, just anytime you play a card here. I thought it was if you had to have but when you put your second one down, but that is not the case. So we might see a gavel over here, which is going to allow her to spit out another one. So yeah, Bruma and gavel. Trade him in. Hit gavel. Bruma, perhaps. Penitence really doesn't do anything. Priest of the 8. Okay. He's going to steal the lethal. I mean, East March still dies in trade, but now Banana has a lethal creature in Shadowing, and boom, now +1, and he gets buffed up to a 5/5. And once again, just like that, I mean, Banana Schwaaard's deck, I can't remember if the first game we saw with him in this and then also, of course, over here, stockpile. If you have a creature with 4 power or more, you can draw a card. So East March Crusader, if he plays it over here, will draw 2 cards. Ooh, so might see Priest of the 8 and then a Merc Captain. I mean, Red Rum is running low on cards, but okay, so he's going to steal another Penitence Oculatus. I said it before and I say it again. I still think Penitence Oculatus is an amazing card, and I defy anyone who thinks that he is not worthy. Because he most decidedly is. Ooh. A strong blow to the face. Another blow to the face. Red Rum is reeling.
Time to join the fight.
Red Rum Tennilus? Whoa, wait. Oh, silent murder. Okay. Little creepy. Goes along with Gravedigger. I get it. Little creepy, though. And does he have... It looks like he's got the premium card back as well. And a premium Sneck. And he's going to be able to shackle down another critter. Yeah, so it is 1/+1 just right off the jump. You don't have to have another creature in the lane. Divine Fervor, not going to be enough to finish, but definitely...
Preparations have been made.
Alrighty. Yeah, Banana Schwaaard, I'd say, is definitely now firmly in control. We see that he's got a ton of buffs. Next turn, he'll be able to do Divine Fervor and Resolute Ally, and he's not going to need to do it. His board could pretty much stay as is. So draw 1 card because he's East March, and draw 1 card because he's 4 power. Yeah, Banana Schwaaard, this is a great deck list. Whatever it is, Crusader was a brilliant idea. He is just, so far, I mean, we've only seen, it's a very small sample size, but the sample size we have seen, he has been just steamrolling, more or less, over his opponents. Now see, this is some incontinuity here. Lack of continuity. This is a pink crab. The crab that comes out is a gray frog. Gray crab. Finish him. Nicely done, Banana. Nicely done. Alrighty, we're joining Plamsaki for the second time. As we saw, he said he's pretty much a straight aggro player. That's his jam. That's what he's comfortable with. I'm seeing a lot of myself or my first decks. Well, not first deck, but yeah, pretty close. in the cards that he's got here. Sower of Revenge, but aside from Sower, and yeah, no, actually every card right now is a card that I would have put in my deck as well, or have in my, because I do have a Blood and Honor deck, and these are the lineup. I have one copy, I think, of Triumphant Jarl, just in case we get into the later games and I'm running a little short. But Sower of Revenge is really the only dual attribute card, so that I can make sure my Mighty Ally triggers. Cast into time. The most effective counter to Sower of Revenge will not be enough, however, as Plam will push that last little bit. Almost could finish it off with a douche, but instead it'll have to be the Woodrow Kent Hunter who goes in for the kill. Swing! Well done, sir. Okay, and we are in a friendly match, taking a little bit of break from the stress and strains and rigor of the ladder. Rigor of the ladder. Tusk Shadows versus Lollygagging Sweet Roll. Lollygagging running a sorcerer deck. Would say mid-range, but with cards like, I don't know, Sky Shard? Let's see. I guess that's more of a late game card. And Orb of Vermina also late game. So I would say the upper mid range, so as we do see Young Mammoth, which I think is a great card, whether you're playing aggro or not. Typically, you don't see that if you are running a control deck because you don't want the breakthrough. You don't want to give your opponent a chance to break runes. Right now, that Tusk Shadows Mighty Withered Hand Cultist is proving to be a deterrent to a lot of what Lollygagging has going on here. Or 2 out of the 5 cards, almost half. Let's see what he's got. Oh, Stendar's Hammer, fantastic. Only downside, so it doubles Wielder's power and health, but it does. Okay, so he is looking to combine that. So, like, he could use that with Withered Hand or Flame Atronach and then Rage. So that's what he's looking to set up. A big, beefy Rage with Stendar's Hammer. Because Stendar's Hammer is great, doubles power and health, but you can't attack your opponent. You can only attack a card. So unless you're looking to just do pure defense, it's got to have breakthrough. And right now, 2 out of those 3 has breakthrough. The problem is, unless he gets rid of the Withered Hand Cultist, he's not going to be able to play Unstoppable Rage next turn. So he needs to do Stendar's Hammer onto well, that's the hard part. Yeah, Withered Hand, I think, might be counterproductive. But granted, Stendar's Hammer, you can just play it raw. You don't have to have Rage on it. And with Breakthrough, it's going to do a heck of a lot of damage. Problem with Withered Hand, as you can see, though, is it is making it hard to get that combo off. So we might see Stendar's Hammer on Withered Hand, which I would argue would make him very unwithered handy. But it makes him a 10... Is it a 10-5 or a 10-10? Oh no, he's going to double that. Nope, doesn't have enough for it.
I live for adventure.
She does. I know she does. Staff of Ice. A good prophecy, but one that ultimately isn't going to get a whole lot done. Oh my gosh, another one. That may bail Lollygagging out of... No. Interesting. Huh. Wonder why he did not play Pointy Wall. Unless he's essentially conceding. Oh no! Nicely done, Lollygagging. Nicely done. I wasn't even... to me, yeah, I just totally lost the plot there. That is why, because he would have just lost his Pointy Wall. So that's a good call. I should have, as soon as he did it, I should have known. It just, when it comes to friendlies, I don't know, some people may be like, I'm not going to play this. We are most assuredly going to see this Master Swordsmith squished, however. Oh, okay, so Lollygagging is running a singleton sorcerer deck against Tusk Shadow's buff breakthrough rage.
Apologies.
And he yoinks the Morkel Gatekeeper. The only problem is, yeah, I was just saying.
Close ranks, let nothing through.
Steals a guard, very useful. Oh, but Stendar's Hammer. Oh, that's a good call. That's a nice combo right there. Stendar's Hammer on the Rehad Horseman. The only problem is Stendar's Hammer doesn't do anything in order to do the buff. So it's not like it adds +1/+1 and then doubles it. It's like whatever you got, it doubles
Well
it.
fought.
So yeah, that's bam. Big old Stendar's hammer. Look at that. 16-4. Rehad Horseman. In he goes. What a game. Good job, Lollygaggen. Great play, Tusk.